Today I realized that I have ham on my face because I made a very bad take in yesterday's video. And I'm not going to take it down, I'm going to own it. Because I could take it down and pretend it didn't happen, but it did happen, so I need to apologize for my bad take. And I got it from reading the comment section. See, I told you I read them. When a lot of you guys pointed out that what Anita Sarkeesian is saying isn't far right at all. Like, instead, it's actually far left. And it's my fault for not seeing it. I've been very charitable with her tweets, and I felt like, okay, so she's saying that individually, if we go down the path of fighting against climate change, we're not going to accomplish anything. The solution is for the government to, for example, push for nuclear energy. Like that would be something that would change the system dramatically. But no, that's not what she is saying. You see, like, what I fail to understand is that there are two very strong left-leaning ideologies in the United States right now. One of them is the woke left. And the woke left are the type of people that run corporations and they pretend to care about social justice in order to sell a product to people who pretend they hate capitalism. It's this literally interesting circus that's going on in the United States right now, where as long as a company puts on a rainbow flag, they will manage to sell a product because people legitimately think that they care about the LGBT community, even though the same company will not put the rainbow flag in places where it matters, like the Middle East, for example. So they pretend that they do activism by purchasing from a company with a rainbow flag. So those are like how Jimmy Dore likes to call it the shit libs, or how Anita Sarkeesian calls them the neoliberal bullshit. And then you have the authoritarian left. Now, a lot of people confuse the two because the authoritarian left is also very deep into identity politics, so they're still woke as fuck. But they do genuinely hate capitalism, and instead what they want is a fascist system. So by fascism, I mean like economical fascism. But it's actually like fascism by itself, because Benito Mussolini said that race is a delusion, and nationalism has no place for the hysteria of race. The only thing, like the authoritarian left, you know, they don't believe in nationalism, but they would believe in a super state like the EU or the UN. So like something that is almost like an empire. Like they're very imperialistic in their view, in that nature. It's almost like an empire that's consensual, that all nations want to join it. But the empire can also constrain nations through economy or political pressure, like the EU does it. As long as it doesn't go to warfare, like they're very fine with empires. Right? I mean, Guy Verhofstadt of the EU said that the EU is an empire for good, and we need to move away from nation states into a world of empires like China, like Russia, like the US, right? Like so these people are the authoritarian left, and they're very aware that like they don't want nationalism, they want imperialism. Because they hope that their ideology is going to run the imperialism. And they view that once they get in power, they're going to be able to fix the world, right? Like they will have enough power in order to rein in the corporations. So in this worldview, this mindset, like, yeah, individualism doesn't matter. So individualism is the idea that you can make a change by yourself, right? So, for example, this is something that doesn't exist now in modern culture. The idea of a symbol, like Superman used to be, right? Like it's Superman behaved in a way in order to inspire other people. Now, Superman isn't a comic book, but like the reason the comic book exists is because the principle existed in reality, and it's about like you as a person, as a human, by behaving in a certain way, you inspire others to follow in your footsteps. Like you want others to be like you. And in my country, I had a lot of teachers, professors, friends, colleagues that I would look up to, and I wanted to be like them because they were inspiring. Nowadays, in modern culture, the authoritarian left is completely destroying the idea of inspiring by taking down statues, tearing down symbols, like making sure that they point out the flaws in other human beings. It makes it so that no one gets to be a symbol anymore. You know, like, for example, they will tear down the statue of Winston Churchill, saying that Churchill was a racist. And it's like, if that's the standard, how the fuck would you like it if I go to your gravestone, you know, after you pass away from an old age? Well, not me, but someone else, right? Because you're probably younger than me if you're an authoritarian left. How would you like if someone went to your gravestone after you pass away and wrote down every little shit that you did in your life? Like every negative thing on that tombstone. You know, like, of course your family members and your friends would find that abhorrent, right? Because, like, when a person dies, we remember them for the good things, not the bad. Because everyone is a human being and does good and bad. So by this standard, by holding people to an unreachable standard, no one gets to be a symbol. So this is why Anita Sarkeesian is against individualism, right? She's against, like, the idea that someone, by being vegan, you know, would inspire others in order to be vegan as well. Now here's the problem. Like, she says, like, this doesn't matter. Like, you're not going to create change by becoming vegan. In a way, she's right. I mean, in a way, technically, she's right, because, like, you're not going to get, like, 300 million people becoming vegans overnight. What she fails to understand is by being a vegan and by having the lifestyle, people are less likely to admit that they're wrong. Like, if you invest a lot of resources into something, you get, like, this level of buyer's remorse where you want to just keep doing it just because you put so much energy into it that now it's, like, too late to call it quits. So you're also going to become irrational in conversations. You're also going to defend your lifestyle in conversations. This is, like, why I thought that she's spewing far-right talking points, because, like, the people who are, like, in this example, vegan, they're going to vote for politicians that promote vegan policy. So they're going to vote for Anita Sarkeesian's government that's going to crack down on the meat-eating industry, or it's going to promote the bug eating. So that's, like, why I thought, like, holy shit, like, she's fighting against her agenda. But, like, I didn't realize that she's not smart enough to realize that she's doing it. And, like, I thought that she's doing it with malice. But that is it, you know, like, if you have a person that goes to work with a bicycle, and you're pretty much, like, telling them, it's like, hey, look, you're being a dumbass because you're not changing anything. Right? And you're taking away an activist for your cause, pretty much. Because that person just bicycling to work is probably going to be more fit. A lot of people are going to look at it, but they're going to say, you know what, like, maybe I should bicycle to work as well. So that's how it works. But secondly, like, that person is also going to vote for your government that's going to be like, oh, we're going to crack down on carbon pollution and whatnot, and right? So this is, like, why I legitimately thought that she's working against her interests by attacking the core activist group that are making the individual choices in order to go to work with a bicycle, or not to eat meat, or be vegan, or whatever, right? Like, by attacking these people, she's less likely going to have, like, the core demographic that does the push for the authoritarian government that she wants, and she probably doesn't even realize it. Because here's the thing, like, I'm pretty sure CNN in this article, they know for sure that, like, lecturing people to eat less meat and do all of this shit isn't going to change anything. But they're also smart enough to know that while it doesn't change things directly, it changes things indirectly by, like, these people being a pressure group to convince other people, whether it is by symbolism or whether it is simply by nagging, to change their lifestyle and to vote for authoritarian government. And you don't need to change a lot of people, because, like, you just do the push slowly. You know, slowly and slowly you do the push till you get, like, investors caring about ESG scores and other nonsense and bullshit, right? So yeah, I was, like, really charitable with her. Like, I felt like she knows what she's doing. It's like, why is Anita Sarkeesian attacking her core activist group that would help her achieve her worldview? And apparently, like, a lot of people in the comment section told me, it's like, no, like, she just doesn't realize that she is from the authoritarian left and she's fighting against the woke left, without realizing that the woke left is a useful tool for her side in order to achieve the goal. That is pretty much what it is, right? But she doesn't understand it. And from my point of view, I felt like, oh, wow, like, she's just doing this from a cynical purpose. But no, like, she's just failing to see the bigger picture. Okay, hopefully I managed to correct myself from the previous video. I really apologize, right? I should have thought about it a little bit more at the time. But, you know, it's an interesting thought experiment, and you should have spent more time thinking about it. And I suppose what really led me to the bad take is that you look at the comment replies that she's getting, and you see so many leftists calling out a lot of the bullshit that goes with the climate change propaganda. You know, a lot of companies going like, oh, we're going to sell paper straws, but on the other hand, they're like, oh, you need to mask up when you enter the company, even though, like, the lockdown rules are easing up. It's like, okay, if you're against plastic, why do you care for a mask which has plastic in it, got microplastics. Like, that's an environmental hazard when you're thinking about the billions of those masks that are gathering, right? So it doesn't make sense. And you see leftists calling this shit out. So if you're not really thinking about it, you might fall into the trap. And also, I just want to point out what I said, like, far right. I was kind of joking, because if I were to make these things, like, if I make the same statements that Anita Sarkeesian made, if I make the exact same arguments, you're going to have, like, the lib shits, as Jimmy Dore is calling them, or the neoliberal bullshit, as Anita Sarkeesian called it, saying that I'm far right. Like, I'm not kidding. If you go with the authoritarian left mindset to a bunch of woke capitalists, they will call you far right for saying these things, right? Because they also, I guess, like, what they view is that the authoritarian leftist government will never happen. So you're just taking away from the issue, like, you're taking away from the activism, which is a very interesting concept. Like, the two lefts calling each other far right or extremists, it's beautiful, but it's very subtle. Like, you actually need to dig really deep into it on Twitter in order to find out this thing, right? So let me know what you guys think. Again, sorry for the bad take, and I'll see you in the comment section. I do read the comment section, I promise. Take care.